Hey guys, it's Dakota here. Um, Bear with me. This is a new format that I'm trying, but as most of you probably know, my match is on YouTube now, so I want to go over it. Um, I'm hoping everything works out and this sounds good. I'm not sure how the my sound is gonna sound compared to the YouTube volume, so I'm gonna try and adjust it accordingly. I have done a listen and I think it sounds okay. So yeah, if you want to hear the full volume though, feel free to go check this match out on YouTube. As you can see here, it's on the Major Arm Wrestling Championships channel. Go subscribe to them. But yeah, this is my match. I wanted to do an in-depth breakdown, kind of talk about everything like that, and so just gonna kind of work through it, guys. But I'm hoping this format works. My first time doing it, so.
Please help me welcome Dakota
So these are the intros.
Shipton.
Nothing crazy here, I don't think. I'm gonna turn this down just a touch. I go around and fist bump everybody because I like fist bumping everybody. I don't know, living in the moment. And then I paused it. I'm gonna skip this. Then they introduce Matt. He shakes everybody's hand. Real cool dude. So yeah. Then after this, we go into round one. Pretty basic. MAC tables, interesting tables, guys. There's some big changes coming to them that I'm excited for. At this point, Matt and I have talked. We decided to start out of straps. So yeah, we're just working on the setup. Oops, I didn't mean to mute that. But yeah, guys, basically at this point, I'm trying to keep my thumb, trying to keep this high as I can. Dave's very smart. He kept moving my elbow backward. But I was trying to keep it as close as I could to keep my webbing high. So round one here. So at this point right here, you can see that I was quite convinced it was a pin. Looking back, I'm not sure it was or not. It doesn't really matter, because I won that round. But outside of the straps, I felt very comfortable going back and over on his hand. You guys can probably see that by this. So then I'm yelling at Dave that that's a pin because I was hoping he was going to call it, but obviously it wasn't. So I come up and I adjust and then I repost and set this part a little higher in his hand and I drive. And actually, you can see that my elbow is off here. Now, I don't know fully if my elbow was off before the pin. In my argument to this, from seeing people being like, "Oh, he fouled, pinned him, whatever," I'm pretty convinced that that first surge was a pin. So I think that it works out in a sense, but I could totally have seen myself getting a foul here and having to restart. With that being said, out of straps, I felt fine. So either way, I think it would have been the same result for round number one. Then I run around and start yelling at everybody. So that's good. I was hyped and in the moment. Yeah, so there, it's hard to tell if it was a pin or not. My elbow definitely goes off, though. I'm not going to argue that. They called it a pin. So then round two here. So I'm going to pause again. So actually, there was a mix-up with our understanding of the rules and how the actual rules were. At this point, technically, because we agreed to out of straps in round one, every match should have started out of straps until a slip. Because there was no slip in round one, we should have went without straps again. We didn't know that, so we went right into straps. Not the end of the world. But when the strap was being applied, there was nothing I felt like was super bad for me. I felt comfortable in the straps. One thing I noticed that Matt did is you'll see him get the strap higher. He asks for it high here. And what that does is it actually puts some protection on his wrist from being buckled backwards, because as the strap tightens, when I pull pressure on his wrist, it's actually going to work as almost a secondary point for him to stop his wrist from being buckled back, which looking back was very smart on him. A lot of people ask me buckle or no buckle in this. It didn't really matter to me. I didn't feel like either side made a difference. I was just trying to keep webbing as high as possible and crack his wrist. I knew he was going to be strong inside. So right here, I made an error. I want to talk about this error because it's something I learned. But what you can see how far I had him on my side of the table. At this point, I should have been putting way more pressure into his fingers and going this direction or like this direction. But instead, I just start pulling sideways. Now, when I pull sideways, we'll go a little bit more here. So I let off, and it allows him to match me side pressure wise, and his side was very good. And you can see that I'm not quite behind my shoulder the way he is behind his shoulder. And due to the elbow pad being so big, you can see that he's right at the front, and he's still able to meet me even though I'm right at the back. Now, here, I was trying to work through his hand, but he just kept cupping and cupping and cupping, and then he got his press in there, and it was very strong. I was holding, but I felt like it was smarter to let off to see what was coming in the later rounds. You can see I go back to my corner. My dad and Sean are there, and I was like, "Yeah, guys, like my arm feels fine. I just need to make a few adjustments." Pretty much what we talked about. But he had a very solid press. I was very impressed with how his press was and the way he was able to get in on it. Like you can see here, he's right on his shoulder, and even if he wanted to, he still got quite a bit of pad to push forward, and I was already at the edge of the pad. That's one advantage that I noticed with that table, is because it's not cut off, you have a long ways to go. um, yes, that works for both people, but obviously depending on the situation. But here I'm like, yeah, let's see what happens in round three. Round three, back into straps, obviously. We've been working on that. Strap being applied, same thing. I didn't notice buckle or no buckle. I think, like people have been saying, it really was who went first. Round two is an exception I would give to that, because I felt like I was able to go first, but I went the wrong way, and then I learned from that round. Going to round three. So I'm really working on being outside of his fingers here. You can see, because I didn't want to get caught again. And he wasn't giving me too much rise pressure. So I was trying to get out on his hand and then kind of maintain the rise that I had. Yeah, live and learn. Like, I felt like I got pretty good out on his hand here. So close your thumbs, close your hands. They called. So here's another thing. I in preparation for this, obviously I train with the Red Deer Club. So when we do any close your thumbs, close your hands goes, we were pretty much mimicking the WAL exactly. In WAL, I noticed a lot of tendencies of the referees, even Bart Wood, who's there. But I noticed a lot of their tendencies was close your thumbs, close your hands, and there wasn't much time in between the close your hands and the go. So if I'll rewind here, you can see, you can see that as soon as I close my hand, I'm ready for that go. I'm getting ready, but they're calling me early on that. So, I mean, it is what it is. But I realized at this point how important it was to go first. So I was trying to be first was the big thing. You can see my dad in the corner yelling at me. And see, they call me early again. But I'm just waiting. I was just hoping that they give me that one go and I can crack his wrist again. Was the big thing. Keeping him outside of his shoulder was very important for me. And then you can see he gets that sideways first, and I couldn't keep my pronation, and he supinated cupped very well. So at this point, it was 2-1 for him, and in my head, I'm like, I need to hit hard, fast. You can actually see Sean tell me right there. He says you need to pull back, like just pull back, and keep him out of his lock, basically, and be first. Yeah, basically at this point I'm just waiting, get back up. I thought he was gonna shake my hand before he chalked everything, but he didn't, so I just sat there looking like a fool. But that's okay. It was all in good fun. Once again, straps being applied. Another thing, guys, I want to talk about is never at any point in this match did I feel like what I was doing was like really, really not working. I felt like at round two, and during round two, there was just a few adjustments I needed to make in different pressures. And then round three, he went first. So there was never any point where I'm like, I need to completely change my game plan and restart. I was just like, I need to tweak a few things and this game plan will work. So that's why you don't see any crazy adjustments for me throughout. And if I could go back, I would have done everything the same. Um, sorry, if I could go back, I would have kept the game plan the same like I was doing, but just had a few little tweaks to it.
For two young and up-and-coming stars in our sport.
So again, straps being applied with the MAC. They just apply the strap. If everybody's happy, close your thumbs, close your hands, go. Now in this round, I'm really trying to keep my height like I have been, but I want to explode upwards, not as much maybe backwards, but upwards, because I want his wrist to just crack back. Because I know if I get the wrist, I'm very confident once I take someone's wrist, especially at the weight he was at, if I take their wrist, I will be able to beat them. So that was what was on my mind.
Here they go.
And you can see once I get the wrist and buckle it back, like I didn't feel much in that round. I felt very confident going into round 5 after this. I feel like I did everything correct in that round. You can see that up pressure. I'm gonna rewind. I think I can play this back at yeah. So I'll play this back at 0.25. This might be a little longer than I need to. But you can see, boom, right there, that up pressure causes the wrist to crack. And he's not in his arm lock at all. So at this point, I'm able to just move sideways and bust the wrist back. You can see there's a point where I'm going back and then I give that up pressure. And see, I really wish that I would have done that in round 2 as well instead of just side. Because I think that this round and round 2 could have looked very similar, but he was able to keep his cup in round 2. Now, obviously, I can't go back and change anything, but I know what I need to work on. So that's one thing I really noticed. In this round, I was very happy with. I felt like it was my best round just because it was an in the strap win, and I was able to keep my elbow on the pad actually. So it was a legit pin. But yeah. And then we go into round 5. This was so much fun. Like in my head, I'm obviously really trying to win, but also in the back of my mind, I'm just enjoying this moment. You can see I have a bit of a smile on my face, like I'm like my first pay-per-view match, and I'm going to round 5 with an awesome competitor. He's super strong. We're very well matched. It was just a great time. They had some. I forget, there was something going on with the strap application at this point, so I'm really just trying to work everything I can. You can see me kind of focusing. I'm trying to get every little advantage I can in the strap at this point. You can hear, if you listen to, you can hear Evan actually talking about me working it, and they keep taking my webbing down, but I was just trying to get every little thing you can. Even in this league, where they take a lot of that out, you really have to work it. And yeah, round 5, guys. And I felt like I got high webbing here. I felt really comfortable in this first go. But again, no go. No go. You should have just said go. I could have won. We could have been done right here, guys. That's all I'm saying. No, it was good. It was good. He was doing the right thing by mistiming his goes, but I obviously just didn't like it. And then I just didn't get it, guys. Like, I wish I would have got that pop a little more, but he cupped in very fast, and then I just was doing so much that once he supinated me in, like you'll see it here, I tried to get that pop, and and then once he got on his shoulder, it was over. But yeah, I mean, very well played by him. I would love to run that back one day. I thought overall it was a really fun match. I think it was a very close match. But yeah, guys, there's kind of my perspective of it. A few things I could have done better, a few things I've been working on because of this. But yeah, again, thanks Major Arm Wrestling Championships for having me. Feel free to go subscribe to them, like the video. I'll just do that right now. Leave a comment, guys. I want to hear you guys' opinions. I check the comments all the time to see what everyone has to say. So Yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in, and hope everyone has a great day. I'm sure you'll see me on some podcasts soon. So yeah, peace out, guys.